1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 23rd regular meeting of council. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:30. And now I'd like to call upon Deputy Mayor Dornbos to read the land acknowledgement.
I would like to acknowledge that the rural municipality of St. Andrews is located on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed in working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, Métis, in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved that council adopt the agenda as amended with the removal of the following item. New business 12.2, the 2024 financial plan timeline. And under old business, it will be item 11.2, GST and gas tax inquiry. So could I have a mover, please? Councillor Hunt, seconder. Councillor Feeble-Corn, all in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes. Be it resolved the council adopt the April 8th, 2024 council meeting minutes as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Councillor Moretti, any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Be resolved, council received the April 15th, 2024 committee of the whole meeting minutes as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Deputy Mayor Dornbos, any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Next item, we have reception of delegations. Welcome to Bev Clegg and Eileen. Sorry, I forgot your last name.
Janowski.
Right, from the Southern District Community Foundation.
We're back.
Yeah. 1 second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for inviting the foundation back for another presentation. This week, you have Eileen Janowski, the foundation's finance manager, and myself, Bev Clegg, executive director. We are both proud employees of the foundation and both happy residents that live here in the RM. Last week was all about vital signs. And this time, we want to support your learning and curiosity about the partnership between the RM and SDCF in 2 parts. The RM of St. Andrews Fund and the SDCF nominating committee. But first, like everything at the foundation, you start with a story. This is a story about leadership, trust, and creating a legacy. Let's go back to 2007. The mayor of the time was Don Forfar, along with a familiar face from today's leadership, Councillor Hunt. Over the years, can we go back one, Lisa? There we go, thanks. Over the years, recreation centers and community halls were continuously coming to council for financial support. Every time a big ticket item was needed, like a new roof, a new kitchen, new flooring, new bathroom, the ask came to council. It was often a big ask. So you get the picture. Council of the time believed that community gathering spaces created a place of belonging while nurturing community pride and spirit. But how could the council support these volunteer-run facilities year after year after year? Again, I know you get the picture. The solution was a partnership with this local foundation by creating the RM of St. Andrews Fund for the purpose to assist community clubs and recreation centers located in the RM of St. Andrews with their building maintenance costs. So not basic operations, not hydro, not cleaning the floors. Building rentals. So the fund was started, and we talked about this last week. The fund was started in 2007 with 4 $50,000 donations over a 4-year period. So the fund started at $200,000. And over the years, there have been many different ways the fund has been donated to or contributed to, not only from the RM, but citizens as well. The RM has donated to celebrate longtime employee retirements, passing of community leaders, and made contributions during Endow Manitoba's provincial-wide giving challenge. I mentioned citizens. Citizens have also contributed both individual donors and community organizations, all for one driving thought. They want to give back to the community. Lisa, here comes Don. An example, Don Forfar himself left a significant contribution through his will. So adding to the legacy, he was very proud to be a part of. Don's deep belief in endowment was best captured in one of the foundation's history videos. Okay, listen, these are Don's words, not mine. Council wanted to support volunteers and encourage them. He wanted council to lead by example. Sidebar, council created the fund. 2, be designated exclusively for community clubs in perpetuity. Okay, this is where it gets sad and creepy and is the reality. This is what Don said, and it's in the video. I'll be dead and the foundation will still be given to the community clubs. I listened to that over and over again the other day. I cannot believe he said that. But I wanted to share that with you. And he said it proudly. That was something he was proud of. And we missed Don. Lisa? Now, the foundation understands that you're curious about the numbers and the fund's impact and how does endowment work? I mean, it's time for the coins.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bev, and thank you, Mayor and Council, for having us. Bev is going to pass around to you 2 coins. Each one is very different. This is a very simple way that I explain endowments and the purpose of the endowments to our new board members and to others. And I would like to share this with you as well, and hope that you'll understand endowments and where the granting money comes from. The one solid coin is like money, which makes up an endowment fund. It is rock solid. This coin will stay like this in perpetuity. The solid coin contains donations received not only from the RM, but also from other donors. Bev has mentioned the kind bequest left by the estate of Don Forfar as one of the donors. This past year, your fund has received donations in memory from community members, in memory of Emily Starziak and Stan and Donalda Paragoski. Myself personally, along with others, made a donation to the RMS St. Andrews Fund when longtime resident Irene Foster passed away. We made this donation in memory of her because we knew the fund existed. In addition to donations, your endowment also receives its allocation of income earned, unrealized capital gains, and/or losses. To provide a bit of background, the RMS St. Andrews used to make an annual contribution to its fund during the annual Giving Challenge Week in November. Looking back over the last number of years, in 2015, $25,000, 2016, $10,000, 2017, $10,000, and then again in 2020 with a $10,000 donation. Pay yourself first is an investor's mentality and a phrase that is quite often used. As you know, this means automatically taking some money from your budget and investing it back into whatever your investment strategy is. In your case, you have the RMS St. Andrews Fund, which can be used as an investment strategy. I quickly want to say that, as most of you know, I typically attend the annual RMF St. Andrews Open House on behalf of the foundation. A board member accompanies me as well. While I'm speaking to residents, I'm always surprised that many of them are not aware that RRM has an endowment fund which they could support that helps our local grant making. This has been my opportunity to not only educate them about the Selkirk District Community Foundation, but also to educate them about the RMS St. Andrews Fund. Now, let's move over to the other coin, which is chocolate.
I think we'll flip a screen or two. There's the coins.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
This is produced by the endowment coin. And this is what we use to grant and support community organizations. In this case, we can eat it. Your endowment fund stays the same. The more the Selkirk District Community Foundation or a fund holder, such as yourselves, can build the solid endowment fund, the more chocolate coins you will have to support the community groups. Next slide. The Selkirk District Community Foundation endowment assets are professionally managed by Canada Life, so they hold all of our solid endowment coins. Next slide. Our rates of return for March year to date is 3.38%, and our 4-year annualization to March 31st is 9.08. I don't know if you have looked at any investments lately, but I know for certain you cannot get a GIC for those kind of great rates. Next slide. The fair market value of your fund in 2010 was $200,000. In 2023, $341,978. What you do today will have a significant impact on our community in the future. In summary, the gold coin represents an endowment fund which produces your annual field of interest grants that are used in the RMS St. Andrews. And in this case, those grants are represented by the coins that you can eat. The bigger the endowment fund, the more chocolate coins will be produced and shared within your community. So just like the RM, the foundation is in the community development business. Only we work from an endowment model, while the RM works from a tax-based model, which brings us to granting and back to Bev.
That means you can eat your chocolate. But leave that little solid one when you're thinking of budget time. Maybe your fund might need a little inching up, but please. It's good chocolate. It's good chocolate. It's not a booby trap, honestly. I mean, last week we mentioned $119,553 granted to the RMS St. Andrews from the RMS St. Andrews Fund when it started granting in 2010. Remember, grants grow as the fund grows. These photos, there's the little Clandeboye rink one, paint the picture who are really impacted by the RMS St. Andrews Fund and Foundation Partnership. So we have the Clandeboye Outdoor, we showed this picture last week, along with the Matlock Rec Club. Excellent. There. I don't think this is gambling. I think this is just, oh, I was going to say crib. There's no crib board there. Anyway, and then the St. Andrews Community Club, the kids gym program that my grandson goes to. A little more about the numbers. So, and since the foundation started granting in 1997, $699,992 has been granted to 36 different community organizations for over 60 different projects and programs being delivered here in the RM of St. Andrews. 699,992, 36, 160. And that's from a variety of endowment funds held at the foundation. So not just about the RM fund. I gotta bring back Henry. We love Henry. We said that last week. We're singing it again. I can't resist sharing Henry. But this time I want to add a quote from Wendy Church, former executive and board member with Clan of Whitehall, and also many other local organizations. Wendy said, the SDCF Endowment Fund grants have been instrumental in the completion of many renovation projects at the Clan of Whitehall. Without the support of the foundation, the upgrades required could not have been completed. The Clan of Whitehall is a wonderful asset in the community, providing various programming opportunities daily, weekly, monthly. And lastly, she said, it's now a hall, fully accessible, air-conditioned, and has up-to-date energy efficiency with the help of these grants. We wonder who has the impact? Many groups have the impact. So with endowment and grants on your mind, because there's another little section here, how can we support your learning, or what questions do you have about endowment and granting?
Council members, do you have
Oh,
more questions?
no.
I don't know if you give your
I might
presentation,
say
to really answer the question.
So is there still a matching dollar value from like Winnipeg for the foundations that come through $6?
That was
$7?
changed over the years now. The matching grant only applies to donations received during the Giving Challenge week that is being made to our community fund. Our community fund is an undesignated fund, and that is what the Winnipeg Foundation will match now.
So to clarify, it doesn't match the St. Andrews Fund.
No, it would not.
Haven't for a while.
It never,
That's our hunt.
first of all, it never has, but that benefits the overall foundation
Yes.
greatly too.
Oh, yes.
So,
So we would benefit.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, which also benefits that $700,000 that you give out for 160,000 projects or 160 projects in St. Andrews.
Yeah.
So we're still getting it back in some way or another,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
so it's
That
win,
matching
it's
benefit-
win-win.
yes, that matching benefit is coming back to us, but not to your local fund.
And that's kind of why years ago we picked the $10,000 because that was the maximum that the grant money come back from. So I think, I know one time it was 5,000 from Winnipeg Foundation and 2,000 from Thomas Sill. So we're giving us 10, 7 went into the community foundation. So it's like almost doubling up
Yes.
your money. So
It is,
that's why we were giving the $10,000.
yes.
That's right, that 700,000, Councillor Hunt, that goes from all of our funds, right? Right back to St. Andrews, great example.
Win-win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I've got to be a little selfish when they do that big spread in the Winnipeg Free Press. And it says how many donations were made in our catchment, how much was given by our donors in 1 week. It is amazing. We are reaching, I think it was 152 donors. We're the highest in all of the province to get that many donations, not value-wise, but people on that week. Not to mention 86,000 in 1 week.
Any further questions, Cal? Deputy
So
Director
what would be the, for that giving week, how many residents of St. Andrews would be putting money into that? Roughly 100, 200, 50?
Well, we have about 150 donors. I would say maybe a third of that, relatively.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
you know, me. I'm one.
So throughout the years, about
Yeah.
50 people or whatever coming through.
Oh, throughout the year?
Oh,
Yeah, throughout
yeah.
the year may be different than
Yeah.
that.
Just in St. Andrews?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Councilor Markey?
Yes, I have a question. How do you folks get your message out to the public?
We have various ways. We, one of our goals, and we exceed this, is to have a good news story in the Selkirk Record once a month. We exceed that, so it's easy math, 12 a year. Well, last year there was, I think, at least 18. That equates to a few thousand, well, way more $1,000 in advertising. People say, oh, do you take an ad out? No, we get way more mileage out of a good feel story than a paid ad. We have a social media platform that includes both Facebook and Instagram. We publish our community report twice a year. That goes to all donors, stakeholders, grant recipients. It's also published in the Selkirk Record. And we share stories always. I shared the story of leadership and Don's story and the council story of the time today. We tell those stories every time we get a chance to.
Thank you.
I'd
Go ahead,
like to
Eileen.
sort of add to that as well. While you're a fund holder, we encourage fund holders to put it on the website. Let your residents know that you have an RMS St. Andrews Fund that is professionally managed and held at the Selkirk and District Community Foundation.
Yes, I see St. Clements has a very good ad on their website.
Exactly. And, you know, when we talk about getting the message out, yes, we have a lot of St. Andrews residents donate. They don't know that you have a fund here. So they don't know to donate to this fund. Instead, they will donate to the community fund, knowing that that fund will grant out to all catchment areas.
Well, basically you just did because, and we have lots of residents that watch these here meetings, so it's good that they see council supports this fund and our residents support it, so by coming here once a year or more, maybe even, this gets out to our residents and that, and also encouraging them to donate during that challenge week, because
Yes.
it's great for the foundation itself, as well as the foundation that people are donating to, and like I say, emphasize the other fund that we have with our car club, and we donated last year in November and got good press out of the paper,
Yeah, you guys had the
you know,
shot
with the,
guys
and
on
it's good for both, you know. So, and the purpose of our fund was for endowments or for education of what we like cars, right? So that's working well, so.
We find that a lot of people don't understand endowments. And that's where I came out with this. We had new board members that didn't understand what is an endowment, where do you get your grant money from? And I came up with this very simple way of helping people understand. An endowment is in perpetuity. Chocolate that it brings, you can give away.
Hey, thank you. So one question, okay. So in the St. Andrews Fund, we have left 221,525.
341.
No, we had 341 and then 119,553 in grants went out.
Go back to your coins, Joy.
Yep, so
See, you-
341,978 is what's in your hard solid coin.
It'll always be,
I
value.
need entering the question.
This granting is the other granting number
Okay,
that you have.
so what's the balance in our fund now? 341,
341, yeah,
Thank you.
978.
Thank you. Okay, council, do you have any further questions?
Yeah, just one question. Are you gonna be nominating, a new boards of directors, or how does that process work?
Perfect lead in.
Sorry?
Perfect lead in, Mr. Counselor. Lastly.
Oh, sorry.
Lastly, that's okay. Here are the short notes
Okay,
about the SDCF nominating committee. SDCF by bylaw. The nominating committee is comprised of 7 community leader positions. One being the mayor of this RM, along with the RM of mayor of Selkirk, mayor of St. Clements, chair of the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority, chair of the Lord Selkirk School Division, president of the Friendship Center, and the chair of Selkirk Biz. So by bylaw, that group comes together and it's at arm's length of the foundation. So it's not a sitting committee or a subcommittee. It's at arm length of the foundation. That group of leaders comes together once a year. The meeting is hosted by the foundation, by our chair. And it's for the sole purpose to nominate volunteers to the foundation board. That is their job, that group of 7. The strength of our board is a direct result of the incredible volunteers nominated because of that process, because of that bylaw. So it's not the foundation nominating somebody, it's the mayors, it's the councils putting those names forward. So this year, that nominating committee is coming together on the end of May 31st. All that paperwork has been received by your nominating committee member, Mayor Joy. We are looking this year for 2 new board members. And our board members sit for 2 3-year terms. So 6 years in total.
No, I haven't brought clarification because I would involve council.
Mhm.
But you advised me that you had someone come forward, because normally I would bring it to council. Last year, there was no position. This year was the position. But Bevan advised in the invite that she had a name come forward. So I didn't submit a name because the foundation put forward a name.
The foundation cannot nominate their own volunteer board members. So our chair is not bringing names forward. There's certainly suggestions made from time to time because we know the skill set that we're needing around the table. So that responsibility is of those 7 nominating members.
Oh, well, no, I can't say the name of
No.
who you told me came forward. You gave me the name that came forward, but I can't say it till after the.
I'll leave that in council's court, in yours.
Councilor Slaker.
Who comes off for St. Andrews? Debbie?
Nobody. So let me clarify. The volunteers that are nominated do not represent an area or an organization. So when the school division nominates somebody, they're nominating someone that they feel strongly would bring incredible leadership to the table. They're not thinking about where that person lives or perhaps what organizations they're deeply tied to. So over the year, I guess one of the last, Deborah's another one. Deborah Vitt is one of the residents from St. Andrews. So is Shauna Curtin. And at one point, Greg Dewar, he moved into the city of South. So those people not necessarily came from being nominated by the RM, could have, I don't quite remember, but it was their leadership strength, regardless of where they lived. That's why they were nominated. So it's not like having a representative on the board.
Any further questions?
Well, over the years, we've given names, correct?
Yes,
Like Mark Webster, Stan
Yeah.
Elvisma.
oh, exactly.
So in needs of like one person was good with computers now, right?
Yeah,
And then another one business sense. So it's kind of members we want from St. Andrews to represent all of their foundation.
that's right, having the scope of
Right.
your community. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
No, I completely missed it, but that's okay.
Any further questions? Okay, do you have anything further to add, lady?
Only just thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for
well,
inviting
thank
us 2 weeks in a row. We won't come back unless you want us to again. But thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for all the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We keep you?
Yeah, this is the one you can eat.
Okay.
And it's good chocolate.
Take my nose, my little. Forget it in your pocket.
Okay, thank you. Our next delegation, welcome Jennifer Ferguson from Red River Planning, joined with Brian Nickel from Red River Planning.
Thank you. I don't know how to follow chocolate, so. Coming here, I've got some handouts, but that's not quite the same. Brenda, there's a share that I can use to present or? you guys-
Brady will set you up. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send you the Zoom link and then, yeah.
Okay.
The hand those up for you?
Sure.
Brian?
I'll give you a Wi-Fi password to get the Zoom link, please. Sorry, Brian, I didn't hand those up from that.
I believe so.
I think this is a first.
Thank you. Back in warm weather. They are.
And Jennifer, your email is just Jennifer at RP. Okay, good to make sure.
Let me know when we're in.
Yeah.
Just getting there, I think I'm connected.
Put you in the room here, I see it on the screen. And then once you're in, you can share your PowerPoint, I'm guessing.
Recording in progress.
And I'll just ask you to please mute the laptop.
Is that working? How's that?
Your audio.
There you go. Thank you again for having us this evening. As you know, I'm the Executive Director, Jennifer Ferguson. We have Ryan Nickel, our Manager of Development Services, joining us. And we wanted to provide you with an overview of the service improvements that have been implemented over the last little while. Just in terms of an agenda, we wanted to provide you an overview of the service metrics in 2023, some of the challenges that we faced, service improvements in relation to inspections, plan review and communication, our complaint strategy, what's next, and then any kind of questions. So in terms of permit statistics, I'm going to focus primarily on single-family dwelling because I think that's where the majority of the concerns have been shared. What we saw in 2022 was a massive increase in single-family permits being issued. There were 541. Following that, in 2023, we saw a significant decline of about 50%. So high demand in 2022 in terms of permit applications, that translates into high demand in inspections in 2023. So we saw over 11,000 inspections being completed last year by our development services team, which was a 40% increase over the previous year. In terms of our processing times, we update our website weekly for our processing times. We have two standards or targets that we try to achieve, 10 days for our fast track permits. Fast track permits are in relation to the less complex permits like demolitions, pools, basement development, or accessory buildings less than 500 square feet. And also for a certified professional submission. And that's when engineers assume more responsibility for the structural design details, which means less review by our department. Our targets for the other permits are around 20 business days, so we're well below that in terms of our service metrics. Some of the challenges that we saw last year leading into this year were the increased service level demand, certainly from the plan review side, as we saw, in addition to inspections, but also a change to the building code. Effective January of this year, a new building code was adopted. We jumped from the 2010 building code to the 2020 building code. And we saw changes in relation to accessibility, farm building requirements, energy efficiency, which was the biggest impact to us, and residential care facilities. So that required us to update our standard operating procedures and review. Further to that, effective March 1st of this year, the performance standard regulation came into effect. So that has legislated timelines in relation to initial complete review of application, permit issuing or permit review, and inspections. So from March 1st of this year to February of next year, their initial complete review of application needs to be done within 5 business days. And then permit review in total needs to be done between 25 and 30 business days. That's going to be tightened up next year, jumping from 2 business days, jumping to 2 business days, and then 15 business days for residential permit review. That also has requirements in regard to inspections. So right now, inspections for residential inspections need to be completed within 6 business days, and for commercial within 4, and that's jumping down to 2 and 2. We have previously been able to deliver on inspections. But we can talk about that a little bit because there's some service improvements that need to play that might impact that. So because of those challenges, because of the increase in demands, we did hear from builders that there were some concerns. There was concern about communication or lack of communication out in the field with our inspection team. Inspection comments on non-code related matters. So if we saw, a quality control issue, we would raise it or raise it as a remark, and that led to some frustration and concern. Commenting on issues relating to lot grading, not accepting photographic evidence, and plan reviews taking too long. We had a session with builders in February to talk about some of the issues and concerns, and these were some of the main issues that came up. A lot of them relate to some of the development in West St. Paul because that's where the bulk of the residential construction is. So that's what we heard. What did we do? We did a lot. In terms of inspections, we made our inspector cell phone numbers available to the building and development community. Their office numbers had always been available, but because they're out in the field so often, it was difficult to get a hold of them. We did confirm our practice in terms of calling ahead when inspections were running outside of the approved AM/PM time slot, and that was consistent with what the city of Winnipeg does as well. Inspectors are to be completing their inspection based only on code compliance or approved plan compliance. We're trying to provide more time in the field where allowed, so there can be that relationship building and improved communication. Final inspections in West St. Paul were revised to make sure that we weren't providing commentary on already approved inspections through Stantec's lot grading process. We formalized our photographic evidence procedure. So instead of an inspector going out for a minor defect, we created a standard operating procedure to accept photographic evidence. Acceptance of non-permanent addressing in West St. Paul. Construction keys for access. We were running into issues not being able to access buildings because they were locked. So that does assist with that. No longer requiring spray foam certification. Providing code references upon request when there are defects, and then overall streamlining the inspection process. So we reduced hot box inspections from 2 to 1, separate building descriptions for duplexes, as well as added information on inspection descriptions, improving communication expectations, and then finally adjusting our final inspection to have some portions of inspections addressed at the final stage rather than upfront. In terms of plan review, we updated and revised our standard operating procedures for the exceptions of engineered plans. So that was for both our certified professional submission as well as our regular applications. And for minor structural issues on plans noted, we will issue the permit rather than requiring that information in advance. If a permit or an application is a CPS permit, and if there are structural items outstanding, again, that would be issued. But we would remove an application from that program if there were major structural items that were outstanding. And we reduced overall plan review markups. We initially did that for inspectors in the field, but that was affecting our permit processing timelines. So we revised that significantly. In terms of communication, we did create a communication with our builders to talk about the inspection booking process, ongoing discussion with the building and development community since that larger builders meeting. Ryan and I have had several follow-up meetings with builders to talk about issues and concerns. And we also created a communication procedure outside of cloud permit. We did hear some concerns that people weren't getting their communication through the cloud permit. So there's a dual communication process that's been implemented to ensure that applicants are aware of any outstanding requirements for their application. And then lastly, exception reporting. So if we do have permits that are exceeding those timelines, we will have a report to the board explaining why we've exceeded those timelines and what we can do in the future to address those issues. And then general items, just some minor things like a secure lockbox for after-hour payments. There is a transaction fee that was imposed as of February 1st of 2.4% on all credit card transactions. So we found that we've been getting a lot more checks as a result. And then we also invested options for non-conforming structures. That was something that the board tasked us with because there were concerns that there wasn't a mechanism to deal with aged buildings that had been on properties for a very long time and there weren't permit records. So in summary, there were 26 improvements that were implemented as of April 5th. And we have committed to continued improvements such as presenting this information to the Manitoba Home Builders Association, continued one-on-one meetings with builders, and developing that relationship with the industry. We're also looking at additional features through cloud permit that may allow us to provide that automated code reference where required, and looking at additional software that might help expedite the plan review process. And also, we were successfully awarded the Municipal Services Delivery Improvement Program. So that work just started in April with BDO, who was the selected consultant by the province. And we're going to be focusing on financial sustainability as well as operational matters. So they will be conducting a risk assessment, looking at the permitting review cycle, budgeting and strategic planning, stakeholder engagement, and best practices and how that can be implemented within the RMPD. And I just wanted to highlight, because a lot of this was triggered from concerns and complaints, that we do have a formalized complaint policy that's been adopted since 2018. So I encourage you, if you have a ratepayer that's contacting you with issues and concerns, please encourage them to reach out to me. I do investigate all complaints and I report those to the board on a monthly basis. So that's an awful lot of information in a very short period of time, so I apologize for that, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Deputy Dornbos.
Thanks, Jennifer. Unless I missed it, what are these standards going to be implemented?
Yeah, they came into effect April 5th.
Okay, so when are you going to be following these standards that are in here?
So we do. So it's been implemented April 5th. So we're following those standards. Those are our new standard operating policies and procedures. Yes, correct.
And Councillor Hunt.
Professional submissions, like with an engineered stamp, do they move through the system faster? Like, not that they get risen to the top of the pile, but like there's less
There's less review required.
review required, right?
That's right. The engineer assumes more responsibility, so there's less that we have to look at. So our target is generally 10 business days for the certified.
Okay. And the one thing that their spray foam certification, what was that? What's that mean?
I will let Mr. Nickel answer that technical question.
Thank you. The building code requires if you install spray foam that it meets a certain standard for the installer and for the spray foam that's being installed. So in the past, the only way to confirm the R value of that foam to ensure that they have the minimum R values as required by the code, we need that CSA standard or something like that to show us what the R value is. So we always ask for it for every time it was installed. So moving forward, what we've done is spray foam has changed a lot in the last number of years, and most of the spray foam that's installed now in dwellings and garages, they're pretty close to the same for R value. Before there used to be a whole, you could get one R value difference from one company to another. Now they're really close. So we're saying we've picked the lowest R value that we see out of all of them, and that's what we're going to use to test. So we don't have to ask for the information every time. If for some reason you say, oh no, ours has a higher R value, you can provide that to us. We'll still use that number. But just to make it easy, majority of them are all within 0.1 of this number we've picked per inch. So it's a very minor
But
difference.
does that matter with closed or open cell?
Open cell isn't allowed,
Right,
so it's only closed cell that's allowed in
so you don't
Manitoba.
need paper barrier.
Yeah, and closed cell doesn't have a testing standard, or open cell does have a testing standard. It doesn't apply for what it is.
For clarification, on one of the beginning slides, it was 2 or 3, the permit process, that now the times are reduced, but it's not taking place until 2025.
Oh, sorry. So the permit, sorry, bear with me one second. The permit standard regulation is in effect as of March 1st. So there's a two-phased process involved in that. So right now we're in phase 1. So that takes us until February of next year. And those are the regulated timelines as per the regulation. And then March 1st of 2025, those drop significantly. Particularly the initial complete review. So making sure that the application package is full and that we can review it. And then also dropping from 25 business days to 15 business days for regular permit submission and the inspections too right now. I'm hoping we will be able to be consistent with that.
Thank you, because it's so confusing. So this ties in with Plan 2050. Like those
No.
timelines with.
This
No.
is a standalone regulation. It's called the Performance Standard Regulation that came into effect.
Councillor Hunt?
So I know we've talked about this before with maybe larger projects or larger buildings with a progressive permit stage. Have you ever thought of that again? Like, your foundation and building rather than, sometimes time is of the essence in some of these projects and that, and
Absolutely,
the building's not being built for another 6 months or a year yet.
absolutely.
We gotta get cement in the ground.
I can
Go
take
ahead.
that,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, one thing we do is we issue a site development permit. So that site development permit goes through all the zoning uses, parking, all your landscaping stuff. So that allows a company to go in, start excavating, taking out gravel, soil, bringing things in, putting parking lots in, everything like that. So sometimes they're gonna start building in the winter, but they know come spring, they wanna open up, but they won't have asphalt in spring, so they wanna put that in the fall. So they can get their site development permit, that goes through all the use zoning. It's similar to what Winnipeg does. They do a similar program. So then when it comes to building permit, you've already set up on the ground, you've already mobilized the site, and then you work on your building permit. For a lot of projects too, larger projects, we ask for a commitment letter for the electrical and mechanical drawings, because those a lot of times come later. So that'll help speed things up. So then basically what we're getting is architect, if one's involved, and structural drawings. So really, those are your basis, because if you don't know what the structure is, how do we issue a foundation permit? And if the architect hasn't looked at it yet to determine, can this building function as a whole and be placed where it needs to be placed by code? Because zoning regulates where you put it, and the code regulates how far away from property lines and other buildings you put it as well. So those are your base minimums you need to be able to start building. So we do it that way. Sometimes when people come in, they have this mechanical and the electrical drawings already.
Letter of assurances.
Not even letter of assurance, they actually have the drawings at the start. But if they
Okay.
don't, we just get a commitment letter from a designer saying, I've committed to doing this project. And then once they have the plans, they'll do their letter of assurance, because the letter of assurance says that I've produced drawings and I'll follow those drawings and I'll do inspections and provide a letter. So we're doing it that way. It makes sure that you don't run into a problem later that can get really expensive. And typically, most companies that are gonna build will have that architectural and have that structural drawing anyways, so it's not really asking for anything different. It's kind of going with what they have. If they follow those, it does help them mobilize and get out there and get started.
Expedite stuff, so,
Yeah.
so we are doing it then.
Yeah, we're doing it a different way rather than just foundation only. In the past, years ago, when I started 20 years ago, we did foundation only. There was a lot of problems with that, a lot of hiccups, talking to other jurisdictions, they have struggled a lot with foundation only permits. There's a lot of extra work and time that goes into it. So going this route, we don't have to spend the extra time, it lets people get out sooner. And we don't have to spend the extra time, and it causes less problems later on.
Okay, thank you.
Council members, any other questions?
I have a question.
Council Director, go ahead.
Yes, this one is for you, Ms. Ferguson. What's the difference between an enforcement officer and a building inspector? Is there a difference?
Absolutely. So a building inspector or a development officers focus on building code compliance and plan compliance. So they go out and inspect the structural integrity of the building. A bylaw enforcement officer would be looking at
So
zoning.
that would be a building inspector.
That would be a building inspector, yes. Yeah. And sorry, your other question was with respect to a bylaw enforcement officer?
No, it wasn't. My question was, what is the difference between an enforcement officer
Oh.
and a building officer? And the reason I was asking that question was I was looking at your website and those two names are in there, and I really didn't understand the difference.
Okay, we only have one enforcement officer, and that's dealing with zoning compliance for the most part.
The next question I have for you, is January 1st, you implemented a policy of wearing body cam cameras. How's that working out? If you could just expand on that for us.
Absolutely. So prior to 2023, we had contracted services with Prairie Valley Law Enforcement who provided body cam equipment for their officers. In 2023, we brought on our own private staff, and we really felt it was important to ensure safety, but also because an officer is out in the field in sometimes high conflict situations, that there's accurate record of what was discussed. And so far that's been working well. It's been consistent with our past practice when we were in contract.
Okay, so it's not used for the building inspectors?
No.
No, okay. Great. The other question I had is your vehicles that you use, are they identified? Do you have any markings on them, anything like that?
I think the majority of our fleet does. I think there might be one that doesn't have a
There's a
decal.
few that don't.
They don't,
We had
yeah.
purchased new ones and then just waiting to deckle up, but in the winter is cold, so we're just waiting for this spring, summer to put decals on.
You also mentioned that we're now taking Visa,
Mhm.
so to speak, at a rate of 2.4%.
Mhm.
How do you handle returns?
That 2.4%, that cost is incurred, so
Mhm.
that number isn't refunded.
Okay, thanks. So that's all I have.
So Ryan, I didn't hear your answer. So the vehicle, we have 4 SUVs, is that correct?
5 of them.
We have 5 of them, and they're all deckled?
No, they are not. No,
There's no deckled on any of
no, there's decals on some, they're just not all decals, so we have to get decals and put them on the spring. We were working on it last year, but then it got cold in the winter to put them on, because they come out and do it in our yard. So then the company we work with, so they're gonna put them on spring, summer, whatever.
Any further questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. This is great clarification for council members. Thank you for taking the time to come. I must appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, next item on the agenda is council reports, which were all attached. When council members have any questions, to the respective council in the report. Hearing none, we'll move on. Agenda item 8.1, be resolved that council approve the April 17, 2024 check detail report, detailed report as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Dornbos, seconded by Councillor Schleicher. Are there any comments? Counselor Slaker.
I went through it and I'm getting better because I understood everyone.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Correspondence for action, Interlake Municipal Rec Association, April 30th. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the Interlake Municipal Rec Association's IMRA's inaugural meeting being held April 30th in Stonewall. Would anyone like, normally Teresa goes,
Yeah, we're not
our rec
just-
department. Yeah, Teresa goes.
For staff, we don't need approval.
Yeah, okay. Does anybody wish to attend? Okay, file for information. The ARM meeting in May 2nd, ARM River Shot, be it resolved that be authorized to attend the ARM meeting, which is being held May 2nd in the ARM River Shot. Who would be attending? Counselor Mareki, Counselor Abelcorn, Counselor Hunt. Deputy Mayor Dornbos, I'm away. Counselor Slaker? Okay, could I have a mover, please? Oh, Brent?
No, I can't attend that night.
Have a mover, please. Counselor Wondor, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dornbos. In favor? Carried. Selkirk bids due to the region, May 8th in Lockport. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the Selkirk bids due to the region event in Lockport, it's at Gappers. I trust, there was all the, information was attached. $320 a table, and that's normally when each RM, Selkirk, St. Andrews, St. Clements, West St. Paul. I don't know if East St. Paul seems to be.
You're a member of the biz now.
Yeah, I don't know who is attending, but we do, but, it's up to council. Counselor Slaker?
I'm not sure why we're doing that when we're not a member.
Counselor Hunt?
It's a State of the Union, it's an address, isn't it? Don't the mayor speak?
Yes, we do a presentation.
Okay, so I think it's for the region, it just that Selkirk Biz puts it on. So we should still be attending it. As we are part of the union, or part of the region, so.
It's sort of like, the presentation's done like what at the R meeting. When you have your turn, what everybody does, but it's just for this area.
Are you attending?
Well, it's a decision of
Well,
council.
I think yes, so if. You don't have to buy a whole table, you can buy a seat, whatever the individual tickets are, so.
At the end of the day, I think we should have some sort of representation there.
See, normally they have the write-up, like, of
Mhm.
what everybody said, it's been in the Selkirk record.
Yeah, I'd go.
Do we have a airport board meeting that day? Second Wednesday of the
It's
month?
at.
It's at 11 to 1:30.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just think representation is important.
Oh, you go.
I don't think it has a cost other than the pay. And the correspondence.
Pardon, Councilman?
I don't think it has a cost other than a table. in
Well, it's
the-
$320 for a table of
Yeah.
eight, so divide that by,
$40.
yeah, $40 ticket. Well, then I will need help because I haven't done it for years because, well, I wasn't the mayor for 4 years. I wasn't allowed to speak, so I don't
Yeah.
have time to do it. Or Lisa will work on a
We'll put something
presentation.
together for you.
Okay, so it's Counselor Mareki. Did you have your hand up?
No.
Mayor Sewell. Be authorized to attend the Selkirk Biz State of the Region, May 8th. Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Hunt, seconder.
Councilmember.
And I'll be coming to Mayor
Me,
Sol.
yeah.
Okay.
If you're going to be
yes,
speaking, I'll be
we
there.
have the CAOs coming too.
Yeah.
Free tickets then?
You're going?
No, but You'll need to take a
Brent,
see you for
myself,
lunch.
and Councillor Moretti. So 3. All in favor? Carried. Next item, 9.4, Manitoba Wildfire Preparedness Virtual Seminar. Be it resolved that Councillor Feeblecorn and anyone else be authorized to participate in the April 25th, 2024 virtual Manitoba Wildfire Preparedness Seminar being hosted by EMO. Would anyone else like to attend? It's virtual. I believe it's by Teams. There's no cost. Take it up a mover, please. Councillor Slaker, seconded by Councillor Mondor. All in favor? Carried. Lily Pad Cruisers donation request. Be resolved, the council authorize the prize donation of how many RM gift bags to the Lily Pad Cruisers Show and Shine event being held July 13th, 2024. Councillor Hunt, you'd be, how many?
They use them for door prizes. So
Yeah, oh,
2
yes,
or
I know,
3,
but how
so
many do you need?
2 or 3 or 4, like,
What is going in the gift bags?
well, you have a history book or
Yeah, we have the history books, Lisa, there's T-shirts, there's.
Right.
I don't know if there is any words. Okay.
Okay. So how many?
it's good for.
4? Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dornbos, all in favor? Carried. Next item, correspondence for information. The Good Roads Association, Red River North Tourism, does anybody have any comments, questions? Item number 11, Old Unfinished Business Aid Friendly Initiative. This is what Megan presented on at our committee of a full meeting. I'll read the resolution. Whereas aging residents are an important part of our community. And whereas it is our community's interest that these citizens continue to live active lives and participate fully in the activities of the community. And whereas the Arm of St. Andrews accepted the invitation from the Manitoba Association of Senior Communities participate in the Age-Friendly Manitoba Initiative. Therefore, be it resolved that the Age-Friendly Initiative be endorsed by the Arm of St. Andrews to support and promote participation and healthy active lifestyles for older adults and all citizens. And be it further resolved that be appointed to the Age-Friendly Committee and report regularly to council on the activity of the committee. I've talked to Megan, and Lisa, maybe 3 meetings a year. I'd very much be interested.
Good.
Yep. Or unless somebody else is. Okay, so that be it resolved, Mayor Stoll. Be on the committee. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Dornbos, seconder, Councillor Slaker, all in favor? Carried. Next item, new business, Manitoba Hydro Street Lighting Contract Amendment. Be it resolved, the council hereby authorizes Manitoba Hydro to make the following changes to the street lighting system in the Arm of St. Andrews. A street light on pole number 1-099-974 on Highway 8 and List Road. And further it is agreed that this resolution will constitute an amendment to the street lighting contract now enforced between Hydro and the Arm of St. Andrews. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Moretti, seconder. Councillor Feeblecorn. Any comments? All in favor? Carried.
Can I just make one comment
Yeah.
about the Old Unfinished Business, the Age-Friendly Initiative? Have we ever thought about putting maybe advertising for a citizens rep on there?
Well, I'd like to attend to see what it's about.
No,
Take.
we still need yourself on there. I'm
They're
not
gonna
saying-
have other committee members
Okay.
there. Yeah, I'm a representative from council.
Yeah.
There will be other representatives.
Good.
That's up to Megan and.
Okay, well, then we can involve our residents.
Yeah.
Some of them, so thank you.
We removed the financial plan comment. 12.3, rescind resolution 2023-405. Whereas resolution 2023-405 was passed on December 12, 2023 for the conditional approval of subdivision S-23-3025, which included 4 conditions. And whereas condition number 4 was to include 2 options, A or B, for the owner/applicants to decide upon. And whereas condition 4, option A, was mistakenly removed from the resolution. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Arm of St. Andrews rescind resolution 2023-405 for the conditional approval of subdivision S-23-3025. And further resolve that council pass a resolution for conditional approval of subdivision S-23-3025 with the conditions and options as originally presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Schleicher, seconder. Councillor Hunt. Lisa, is there anything you wanted to expand on this, or Brayden?
I can quickly go.
Self-explanatory, but if you want.
Yeah, I can just quickly go through the concepts. So late last year in December, council had passed a resolution approving the subdivision S-23-3025, not subject to a public hearing. It's typical A80 subdivision. Condition 4 was provided by Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, and there was a choice between options A and B, but they were both to be provided to the applicant. We had mistakenly only given them the option of B, restricting their choice. And thus this is being brought forward to rescind the original resolution and then issue a new one with all the conditions listed in full.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Item 12.4, subdivision S-23-3025, 8149 PTH number 8. We resolve that proposed subdivision number S-23-3025 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. Number 1, the applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year, plus any arrears have been paid or arrangements satisfactory to council have been made. B, payment of any capital development levies has been made. Item 2, applicant owner obtained variances for the undersized lot. Applicant to confirm lot size from the surveyor after Manitoba Transportation Department's condition. Item 3, applicant owner submits written confirmation to Red River Planning District from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with the departments with respect to existing and or future facility associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval. Number 4, that the owners are to choose one of the following. A, that the proposed lot be redrawn so that property boundary is located down the middle of the existing access for shared use with the residual. Or B, the applicant owner obtains all the required approvals and permits from Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure for the relocation of the existing access to be located down the middle of the property boundary for shared use with the residual. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Feeble-Corn, seconder. Councillor Schleicher, any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Item 12.5, signing of development agreement. Whereas the developer is required to enter into a development agreement with municipality as a condition of approval for subdivision S-23-2995, and whereas the development agreement has been prepared to include the items deemed necessary by the municipality, including an engineered lot grading plan, engineered servicing plan for the new lot adjoining River Road. Structures, dwellings on each lot shall be required to connect to the municipal sewer service with 1 year of the execution of the development agreement. Any other standards deemed necessary by the municipality. Therefore, be it resolved that the Arm of St. Andrews authorize signing of the development agreement with Dirk Urkow and Suman Faulkner upon payment of any development and administrative charges. Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Schleicher, seconder. Counselor Mareki. Brayden, did you want to add anything further?
Yeah, quick overview. This is the subdivision for 2 and 4 Stevens Avenue East. It's the church at the corner of River Road and Stevens Avenue. It'll create one new residential lot. And as noted in the request there, both would be required to connect to the sewer system. And
Any comment, question? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Now we have, item 12.6 and 12.7, respectively, Evergreen School Division. It's a notice of tax requirements, and then the Lord Sucker School Division. It's basically, so council is aware. For information, there's no resolutions required. Item 13, in camera. Be resolved that council move in camera at 6:40 PM to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under section 152(3), and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or a committee conducted in public. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Dornbach, seconder, Councillor Mondor, all in favor? Thank you. We're in camera.
on.
Thank you. Be it resolved that council move out of in camera at 7:25 PM. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Schleicher, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dornbos. All in favor? Carried. Resolutions arising from in camera. Agenda item 15.1. Whereas the owner of the building located on the RM lease land in the St. Andrews Airport has not paid annual tax levies on roll number 6280 as required in the lease agreement. And whereas tax sale proceedings as defined in the Municipal Act do not apply to structures located on RM lease land. And whereas the owner has since deceased and the estate has requested removal of compounding tax penalties related to the leased property owned by the RM. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of St. Andrews agree to the removal of tax penalties after 2019. And further that the estate of roll number 6280 pay $1,628.76, which are the tax penalties prior to 2020 by April 30th, 2024, to clear the tax account on the property. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Mondor, seconded by Councillor Schleicher. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. And I also apologize to council. I missed before in camera item 11.2. At the last council meeting, we asked for a breakdown of the GST and gas tax inquiry. I sent, you all got a copy of the email I sent to Tim. I received no acknowledgement, no response. But I'm assuming due to the time constraints on finance preparing the budget, Elise has been helping me. We'll have something for the next agenda. So just so everyone's aware. Next item is adjournment. Be it resolved that the council meeting be adjourned at 7:28 PM. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Schleicher, seconder. Councillor Mareki, all in favor? Carried. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening.